Gamer.
Alright, welcome back everyone to Tavern Gamerz. We're going to be doing a 2026 Galactic Legend ranking. This is again my opinion, guys. Mainly basing it off of how useful they are in Grand Arena and factoring in like the requirements, how useful they are just in terms of getting you that victory, resources you get from them. The other game modes, kind of matter, but from my point of view, I'm going to be again focusing mainly on the rewards you get just for having the Galactic Legend and how good they are in getting you that win, in defense, offense, overall, return on investment, that kind of stuff. So let's get this party started. So in last place, this one is a tough one. I was mulling over who's our worst Galactic Legend. They're all good in their own way. They're Galactic Legends, but if I had to pick one that's kind of the worst, in the past I would say Sith Eternal, but he did get Bane as a lifter. So for me, I think just the fact that you can use him with Bane gives him not the worst position. So that's gonna go to Luke. So let's move good old Luke over here. Oh. My bad, hold on, I'm still fiddling with this shit. Alright, so Luke's in worst place. So, you can't really put him on defense. Yeah, he's got Jedi Cal, and you can sometimes use him to beat some teams, but generally, he has a hard time beating the top tier teams. Takes quite a decent amount of resources and like relics and characters to farm him. On defense, again, he's just not that useful. And offense, he's like very lackluster, even with Jedi Cal. So for me, and he doesn't give any rewards. So for me, he's going in 10th spot. He's the worst one to chase after. Again, he's not bad, but definitely not the greatest. I wouldn't rush him. But he does, some of his requirements overlap with Leia and Jabba, etc. But for that reason, yeah, Luke's coming in 10th. So the next one will be Sith Eternal. He's coming in number 9. Alright, whatever, he's in number 9. Defense, same idea. You can't put him really on defense. You put them on D, they can use their own Sith Eternal. There's other squads that can just beat them that are non-GL squads. So usually it's mainly used for offense. Using him with Bane, you can do it, but then you're using Bane, which can beat a GL on his own. So you're basically using two decent teams just to do one very specific thing. It doesn't give you any crazy rewards. It's pretty easy to farm, so if you factor that in, plus using Bane, I think that's why for me he gets the slight edge over Luke, but both of them are kind of in the same bottom tier. Alright, moving on. So who's going to be our next one? Now this one is also kind of tough. In the past, things would have been different. I would have put Lord Vader here in the third worst spot, just because he requires a lot of units to get him. Like the investment is pretty high, but now that you got Dark Side Clone Troopers and he gets his own little reward, so I think he's not the worst anymore. And I think the one that's fallen from grace the most here is going to be old Kenobi, and it pains me because he used to be like top tier. He used to be the shit. So now it's going to be Kenobi. So he's alright. You can beat some teams, sometimes you can beat a, Kylo team, or use him to beat a Jabba, assuming they don't have the support Krun, which I've had to deal with a lot and lose to. So he's got his niche uses. On defense, he's also kind of like very mid-range. You don't usually put him on defense, and he doesn't have any crazy awards. But if you're going to go for him, again, some of his farm overlaps with Luke and Leia, so again, he's not terrible, but definitely he's fallen from grace. And for that reason, he's going to be our third worst Galactic Legend to chase for. Alright, next. Yeah, it's going to be Lord Vader. If his requirements weren't so disgustingly nasty to get, and then even when you get him, you still gotta farm the dark side troopers, which is another farm on its own, and that adds to the cost. But on his own, like, he is a decent Galactic Legend now. You can put him on offense, put him on defense. Bo-Katan sometimes struggles now with the dark side clones, depending on Datacrons, so he's not as trash as he was before. But just the requirements factor for me is what puts him in fourth worst. Otherwise, I'd put him here. But yeah, the requirements definitely are holding him back a bit. So that's where he's gonna go. And let's go to the next one. Let's see. Alright. This one, if you asked me this maybe several months ago, before they got their event, I forget the name, there's something Shadow. They got a new event. It gives you some rewards, gives you some droid brains or whatever. So, with that said, yeah, it's gonna be Ahsoka. She's decent. I mean, for her to really shine, again, high relic requirements. You do get an event, that's fine, but she's not really required for anything. And if you're not putting Ezra in there, you're really opening yourself up to, counters that can beat her. Like, when I use my Night Sisters, Great Mothers, that's a counter. It's not a GL, but someone wasted all these resources, throws her on D. And for the most part, Night Sisters just have her number. Even with Ezra, unless your Ezra's blazing fast, you're going to be losing to a budget counter. And again, the high relic requirements, and you only get so much reward. So if she was a lot cheaper, if she was like budget friendly, like Sith Eternal, she'd be higher on my list. But for that reason, that's why she's just a slight edge over Lord Vader, and it's not by much. You can interchange these two. But that's going to be my ranking. Again, your ranking might be different. That's my point of view. Feel free to put your comments in what ranking you do in the comments if you care to do so. All right, next one. So this one we're gonna put, and this is tricky. This one is definitely closer than it should be. If it wasn't for the requirements, I would. Well, let's change the track here. Let's get another song on random. Alright, sure. Okay. I'm gonna put Hondo here. His requirements are very high. He's got all the new characters. They're not easily farmable. Yeah, he's got his event, the Smuggler Run 3, which gives you some slicing material. It's not bad, but again, his cost to play is pretty high. Now, he is really good right now with the Quiggold, Datacron, the really strong one. You throw them on. He's one of the hardest teams right now, anyways, in Grand Arena to beat. But that's temporary. Once that rotates, unless he gets another nasty cron, he's not going to be as dominant as he is right now. The cost of getting him is pretty still high. And then you got all these random pirates that aren't really used much other than with him. So, for that reason, yeah, he's coming in number 5. But he's very good. If you can farm him and you're close, go for him. He's a great Galactic Legend, just very expensive. I wouldn't start a new account and just rush him. But for that reason, yeah, he's going right here. Alright, next. And this one is tough. I love him, but Supreme Kylo's coming in 4. So he's fairly easy to farm, but a lot of the characters you get to farm him are pretty useless, like First Order, unless you're using him with him. The rest of the First Order are just like leftover garbage. I mean, yeah, there's some overlap with the Executor or whatever. On defense, you can put him, but he can get baned. You know, there's certain teams that can still beat him. He's usually used, for me anyways, on offense. And on offense, even he struggles. Like, even against Pirate King Kondo with that bullshit Quaggle, you can still lose. And normally, Kylo's my only counter, or consistent counter, other than online Force users against Hondo. And even that's shaky, so he's fairly cheap to get. You're not really getting much, rewards for him, but the fact that he's still really good with Darkside Ray. Without Darkside Ray, he'd fall way down on the list. But with that lifter, he's really good. Can pretty much beat most GLs, so he's kind of a Swiss Army knife on offense, not the greatest on defense. And for that reason, he comes in 4th for me. I still love him though, he's one of my favorite. And he's on my to-do list for Relic 10. Although Ray's going to get that edge for the Relic 10. But yeah, he's 4th. And who do we have next? So this one, it's going to be Ray for 3rd. Now this is Ray with Ezra, right? Without Ezra, way down the list. But assuming you're putting the best defensive team you can, she's got a really good Kron right now still. Pretty easy to get. She doesn't give you any crazy rewards. And for that reason, she's coming in 3rd. I mean, she's a great workhorse. One of the best defensive teams. Throw around there. Relic up your Ezra. She gets me the most holds on my defense to this day with Ezra on that team. And put Relic 10 on her. She's a beast. She hits hard. And that team's just really annoying, so cost to get her is pretty good. One of the early Galactic Legends when CG was kind enough to give us that light speed bundle. We got her all for like, pennies on the dollar. That was great. And I didn't have her farmed at all, but I got it. Didn't regret the purchase, so definitely a beast in Grand Arena with Ezra. So she's 3rd for that reason. And this is a toss-up. So I'm gonna give my ranking. So I would say overall, in terms of fighting power compared to Jabba, Leia's better on offense, defense. She does have her own little event, which isn't bad. She's not too expensive to get, and if you get her, you're kind of overlapping with Jabba and Kenobi. But if we're, counting the resources, like Jabba's just per month his event, the Smuggler's Run 2 just gives you way too much value in terms of crystals. So for me, she's going to be number 2, although I think she is a better, strictly fighter. Oh, let's get another tract. There we go. Okay. So for that reason, yeah, Leia's coming in number 2. You can throw on defense, on offense. She can kill most other things. She can still get Bane, which is a bit annoying. You put her on defense, Bane can still screw her up. So that's kind of one thing that pisses me off. And Jabba doesn't have as much of that weakness as she does with the Bane. And Jabba, again, not as good overall on offense, defense, but certain things don't beat him. Like I said, Bane. But you are getting those resources. He's pretty easy to farm, low relic requirements. He's a fun character. He's got the Annihilate. So if you're gonna farm a character and you're brand new account, he's just gonna give you the best return on investment. He's still somewhat useful in offense, defense. Again, not like God tier like some of the other ones, but overall, I think for what you're putting in to get him, what you get out of him, I'm gonna put Jabba number 1. And that's going to be my ranking for the 2026 season. So let me know in the comments, guys, what's your ranking. This is mine. Again, Grand Arena is the main thing I'm keeping in focus here, not the other game modes as much. But that's the list. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Stay frosty.